Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Erica Schmerica's Reality Recap. Today, we're going to be talking about 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, Season 5, Episode 15. How did we even make it to Episode 15? If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and go ahead and hit that notification bell to get notified about all new videos I'll be posting. Let's get started. First up this week were Queen, Kimberly, and Soja boyfriend. So it's finally time for Kim to leave and to head back to the US, and she's feeling a little nervous because she still isn't really positive on where she stands with Soja boy, but she's pretty sure that they're like girlfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend right now. So yeah, they headed off to the airport. Soja boy stole one of her shirts, which cost him a mere yamming, just one yamming. And in the cab ride there, she's like crying, she's all upset, and Soja boy gives her his own private Soja boy concert, singing about like, you got that yummy, like, what are you doing, Soja boy? Trying to reassure Kimberly and lighten her mood that everything's gonna be okay. So he drops her off, refuses to kiss her goodbye because his whole like, I don't kiss in public thing. I mean, probably only existed post BGL, but anyway, he doesn't kiss in public, so they do a little like high five. And she leaves, and he watches her just kind of like struggle with her luggage, like flopping to the left and right, like falling over sideways as she walks in the door. Not even bothering to help her, but that's okay. So anyway, the preview for next week show him hitting up Zara, his old girlfriend, now that Kimberly is out of the picture. Can't wait to see how many times she's going to say, yo, when she hears about this one. Mike. This was a rough one this week. Mike and He-Man were having a lot of problems last week when Mike took off Paul style, running out into the Colombian night, into God knows what alleyway. And he finally finishes up his little track meet and comes back to X-Men, who's still sitting at the table looking like a pirate hooker. So she's got the do-rag in place, she's got the fishnets on, she probably got crabs, it's fine. So anyway, Mike sits down and, they officially decide it's over between the two of them. They're not going to reconcile. They're not going to work out their differences, like he kept saying. It's over. So Mike asked that he could please stay at the house, and Jimena agreed. So they went back to the house, and Jimena's sister's sitting there on the couch, on the pink couch, waiting to hear about this whole crazy night upstairs and go to bed. And Jimena just says that she just couldn't take the bug-like staring anymore, and it's not going to work out, and she ended it. So Mike gets so upset. He's up and down the stairs, doesn't know what to do with himself. He's crying. The poor producer had to go comfort him, but he's not getting it through his head that this is really over. He thinks that Jimena will just come to her senses. So the next day he's packing, and Jimena brings him a cup of coffee, and he's like, oh, this is good. And she's like, okay, I have, your engagement rings. He was like, why don't you keep this for safekeeping so that when we work out our differences, you can have your wedding rings? And she's just like, no, I'm done. And then just the switch flipped, and Mike just turned into this other person, and he told her she was cold and calculating, and she was a bee with an itch. Not sure if I can say that on YouTube. And it just went on where he was yelling at her, called her "hija de puta," which was probably the other Spanish phrase besides te amo that he learned. Where did he pick that one up? He put on that black cartel tank top, and it just "hija de puta" came out. It was crazy. She's getting all defensive. They're fighting. And then he's like, you're missing out on the best thing that could ever happen to you. And she's like, of course, Juan and Harold and then Steven were the best things that ever happened to her. But anyway, he's like, well, what are you going to do for money? How are you going to put a roof over your head? You're going to be on the streets. And she's like, well, I'm just going to go back to modeling, this illustrious modeling career that she keeps talking about. But apparently Mike just brings up the dirty laundry that Jimena was a webcam girl. And she's like, well, so that's where you met me. Oop. But X-Men is in fact XXX-Men. She is a cam girl, and that's fine. No judgment here. Just saying, this is how they met. Mike was on there, flirting with this cam girl, and then decided he's going to pay for her rent, he's going to pay her bills, and he's in love. So anyway, she did lead him on. She did say that, they were in love, and they had all these plans to get married. And now she claims that she never wanted to leave Colombia. He's devastated. He doesn't know what to do. She wants him to get out and leave and go to a hotel. He refuses, saying that he actually has proof that he pays the rent at that house and he is not leaving. And he awkwardly stomps upstairs and screams that he's going to bed. So this whole thing was very cringy, hard to watch. Sister Jimena had to go upstairs and have a little heart to heart with Mike and calm him down and make him promise that if he went to a hotel, that he could come back to the house the next day and say goodbye to everybody, especially Harold, and then Stephen. And he probably had to break the news to Harold Stephen that he's not going to have a bar mitzvah. Speaking of awkward, there was Pastor Ben and Mahogany. So these two are weird all of the time. This whole relationship doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, and I think it was just all planned by production. Ben headed back by himself to San Bartolo after their whole desert vacation went awry, and he's by himself. And after Mahogany totally left him in the desert, still thinks he's in love with her, even though he broke up with her. God's plan broke up with her. Everyone broke up with her. He decided he's going to reach out again. So he tells her, not just hey, Mahogany, what are you doing? Do you want to talk face to face? Of course, that's not Ben's style. He has to write her some crazy text message. It's Mahogany, my love, the Lord is telling me to meet you in the spot where we spent the whole first day together. You know the spot. Meet me there. It's why are you always something out of a Fabio book? I don't understand. So anyway, Mahogany actually opts to meet him, going over there, and he's you look ravishing. And she's just standing there and this whole conversation, and she tells Ben that she doesn't understand, that she felt not important, when he let her leave. She said that she was leaving and he just didn't do anything. She left and she felt that was him making her feel unimportant, which actually that's pretty much what a stalker makes you feel is important, right? It's the only thing they're good for. She wanted him to apologize for standing up her parents who just showed up unannounced and he didn't even know they were there. And she was totally negating the fact that she lied about her age, her photos, her home, everything. And she refused to respond to his text messages, but she threw everything back on him. So they're standing on the pier with the rocks and the sea in the background, and they're having this weird conversation, and Mahogany's using her best, acting 101 class to kind of be but Benjamin, this is also so confusing. And he's confusing? She's confusing. He's confusing. And then they just started making out. Oh, nee, what was going on with that? So after their first kiss, which was this, they were kissing that, you couldn't even see that they had lip to lip connection. And Ben's that was so hot. Well, that was extra cringy. Mahogany said he was a pretty good kisser for a man his age, which leads me to believe this isn't her first rodeo. Maybe this is Mahogany's demographic. So they walk hand in hand and they seem to be doing okay. And they decide the next day Mahogany's going to go with him all the way to Lima because he's going to be taking off from the airport out of Lima. So the next day they meet up and they went to a little beach. They rode out from San Bartolo and they are heading to Lima. And she's bye, San Bartolo. Look at the beaches. Look at my school. And I hope that he checked out the school to make sure it wasn't a high school. I mean, you don't even know with Mahogany what's going on. Anyway, they get to Lima and they take a little walk and they discuss their relationship. And Ben finally feels comfortable enough to be what the hell's going on with your photos, your house? He tried to confront her about a few of these things, including her age and the 2-year age discrepancy. And Mahogany's just I don't really know what you mean. What do you mean, Benjamin? And then after he started explaining, she's but you didn't tell me things either. You didn't even tell me that you didn't get along with your ex-wife. And her energy stays exactly the same. No change in vocal variety, no change in emotion, just all so strange. So, he tries to say, well, yeah, that's true, but, that doesn't, take away from the fact. And she's I'm just going to go, Benjamin. You just keep talking. I'm just going to leave. And she just gets up, puts on her weird blazer, and leaves again. So next week preview shows Benjamin trying to chase her down in the cab. And I'm not really sure where this is going, but I never have been sure where this is going, but I hope it is over soon. Back in Tunisia, it is finally time for the big wedding day. So Memphis is sitting in Mother Hamza's house, getting her henna done, getting her makeup done. This poor makeup artist, oh my God, what is she doing? She made Memphis's face look like the ghost of Memphis past. She used a concealer that was 3 shades too light for her skin and covered her in glitter. I mean, this girl was an MUA, as Ben likes to say. Hamza gets his 5th haircut of the episode while his whole family is standing around going, very excited. And he can't wait to see the bride, who comes shuffling out in her like gold hood, looking fabulous. And the two of them are like ushered off by their chanting, cheering, happy family to go to the wedding venue. So what I really liked out of this episode was that Hamza's whole like friend and fan base there were all riding like these super cool like crotch rocket motorcycles, and they were all like revving them and like chanting, and it felt like kind of like an 80s montage was going to happen. Not really sure. So they headed over to the venue, which was absolutely hysterical because, of course, you know, the whole ceremony was in Arabic and Memphis had no idea what was going on. All the men were standing with their hands like this. So Memphis just started going like this. She's making like weird faces. I felt like she was going to like start doing the Macarena any minute because she like really wasn't sure what to do. What a great time. But apparently in Tunisia, to get married, you just have to sign a contract. And then afterwards, you can go for like an hour of dancing. So then Memphis, like, in her interview afterwards, was like so excited. Oh, me have sexy time on me honeymoon. Me and Hamza drink and have sexy time. No whiskey. No whiskey. Stiff drink. No whiskey for Hamza. It's like, okay, we get it, Memphis. Enough. And she's like, ha 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 ha. Okay, then we catch up later with them at their honeymoon, and Ugg and Thug are sitting there, and she's like, me snuck out this morning from hotel room. Me go CVS Tunisia and get me pregnancy test. Apparently, it was positive. I don't know. There was a lot of back and forth online. I was seeing that some people were like, she was there for 2.5 weeks, but I guess she was there for 4 weeks. Still kind of moved a little fast there. But anyway, the pregnancy test was positive, and Hamza was really excited to hear that he was going to be a dad. He's like, me sexy? Me dad? Me sexy dad? Yes, you are, Hamza. Very nice. So anyway, they head back to Mother Hamza's house, where they tell Mother Hamza and Sister Hamza the happy news. Mother Hamza's all like, so excited, and she's wearing her Hello Kitty sweatshirt, and she's like really excited, rushing to buy that baby a Hello Kitty sweatshirt to match. And yeah, I guess next week we get to see reality sink in when Memphis realizes that she's going back to the US alone, pregnant, with 2 other children to care for and work. And you know, who's going to be around when she's like, me want ice cream, me want pickles, me want chicken, steak, fish. Then down in Panama, we had Gino and Jasmine. So we first see them in Jasmine's brand new apartment, which apparently like she had some falling out with her roommate and decided she needed her own place, and she couldn't afford to do that right now. So Gino offered to pay for her apartment, pay for it completely by himself all the time because he has to take care of all of his bills back in Michigan, and he's not even working right now. But he did announce that he has a lot of money in investments, something to the tune of $650,000, which is something that I think that Jasmine sees when looking at it. He went off and he went to get like a fattening pastry that Jasmine wouldn't approve of, and he called Uncle Marco, who reminded him like, Gino, you gotta ask her about the prenup, Gino. And they may be related to Stephanie from season 4. Gino really knows that he needs to talk to Jasmine about this prenup, but he's scared, and rightfully so. She could go off at any moment. So later on, they went to dinner. It was his last dinner in town, and they sat down to have a nice romantic meal together. And Jasmine says she has to get something off her chest. She's been internet stalking Gino's long-lost ex-wife, who still uses Gino's last name. And this pissed Jasmine off because she wants to be the one and only Mrs. Gino. And she announced that she wants Gino to contact her and change that. And she also said that when she moves to Michigan, she plans on redecorating Gino's whole house. He definitely doesn't feel like bringing up the prenup situation in this moment is a great idea. And I don't really blame him. He's probably shaking in his Birkenstock. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Erica Schmerica's Reality Recaps. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell about all of the things. And I'll see you guys again next week for the finale. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good week. Bye.